Welcome, adventurers! What's going on, guys? My name is Cody. This is Taking 20, a channel about all things role-playing games. And today I am really excited to share with you guys a new piece of software, a map creator by Pyromancers.com called the Dungeon Painter Studio. If you guys have been following along with the channel for a while now, you'll know that I'm a pretty big fan of Pyromancers.com and their online dungeon painter software. I've done a few videos now on their online tool. So I was really excited when Pyromancers reached out to me and asked if they could sponsor a video for their new Dungeon Painter Studio, and they sent me a copy, which I have been playing around with for a few weeks now. And now that I've had a chance to kind of play around with it a little bit and really see some of the new features that are offered in this particular tool, I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed, especially for the price point. So today, thanks to Pyromancers, I'm gonna be walking you guys through the new Dungeon Painter Studio. That way you can decide if this tool is right for your gaming table. I hope you guys are ready. Let's get started. Alright, let's take a look at what this thing can do. So the first thing you're going to want to do is head over here to this little drop-down menu that says Dragonville. Now, when you load in here, you're going to see a few different styles of art that you can choose from. They even have a taboo tech, which is pretty, honestly, it's looking pretty impressive so far. I'm definitely going to be using this for Starfinder to build some maps whenever that drops here later this year. But let's go ahead and jump back over here to Dragonville. Once you choose an initial folder, you're going to be presented with a few different styles. Now, over here on the left side, you're going to kind of see a subfolder section. So you have hand-painted flooring, hand-painted grounds, roofs, sand and snow, etc., etc. And these are there's quite a few different styles here for each of these, which should give you a lot of depth when you are creating your maps. So let's head back over here to this hand-painted flooring, and let's plop down a new, let's say a 16 by 6 room. Okay, so this is one of my favorite things about the new Dungeon Painter Studio, is that it actually gives you the option to edit these things and switch to new terrain styles once you've already laid down an asset on one of your layers. So you can see that once I hit this rectangle and I drew it out, it immediately created this little, it created this layer in essence. If I want to change this, all I need to do is go over here to edit. You can see that these two black dots will pop up. I can actually drag these dots and continue to resize. Or I can even go down here and choose a different style of flooring. This is really, really convenient. Now, the last thing that I want to share with you is if you want to quickly look through these, you can actually use your mouse wheel to just quickly scroll through. This is something that's totally new to Dungeon Painter Studio, and for artists or for dungeon masters that are trying to kind of get that right look, instead of having to lay something down, delete it, recreate it over and over and over again, this is a really nice, convenient way for you to be able to quickly make adjustments. Once you've settled on the new style, just simply come over here to the top left corner and hit OK. The next feature that is new with Dungeon Painter Studio that I think is really great is it gives you the opportunity to select multiple things at one time in order to move them. So if you have a grouping for a bedroom, or you have a grouping for your walls or whatever, and you're just trying to move a section of them, it's completely doable, which is very, very convenient. So to show you what I'm talking about here, I'm going to go ahead and plop down another little section of map. And you can see here that I have a big section and a small section. And as soon as I did that, it actually created a second layer. Now, just like a Windows File Explorer, I can grab both of these at the same time by having one selected, hovering over the next one I want to add, holding the Control key and clicking, and I will basically now be selecting both of those. In order to move them, I slide back over here to move, I grab, and they will now move as a unit. There you go. Pretty neat. Alright, so the next thing I want to show you is the new Effects tab. This is really a game changer for using this software and really getting a lot of depth out of what this thing can do. I'm really, really excited about this. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and select one of these. As you can see, I have this item, this layer kind of selected here. And when I go over here to the Effects tab, by default, you're going to get 6 different built-in effects. Now, here is how the effects work. Let me go ahead and grab this and move this over in front of here so you can see the shadows. So now that I have selected this particular item, I can add a long shadow. I can add kind of a mid-length shadow, a short shadow. All of these are by default. I can add a bevel. I can add a yellow glow, and even an orange light. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with that. Now those are just the default. With each of these effects, you can only apply one at one time, but that's okay because you can come down here and you can start to create your own. And let me kind of show you what this does. I created this dingy effect here. Let me apply this. And as you can see, this basically has tinted the entire piece, which gives it a much darker, much richer tone. So if I was using this for a sewer or something with maybe not as great of lighting, I could use something like this. All I've done is I've chosen a color out, a kind of a nice dingy color, go figure. And you can even change the intensity. So if I want to crank it up or down, I can make the tint more or less transparent. If I want to add additional effects, that's what all of these little checkboxes do. So I can bevel it. I can change the highlight color to something dark. I can increase the blur and the strength. I can add an inner glow. This looks really nice when you are creating walls around the place and you are looking for a way to add those shadows in pretty quickly. All I did for the inner glow was I just chose kind of a nice black. And you can crank the blur up or down depending on how deep you want your shadows to go very quickly. You can also take your strength up or down. You can add an outer glow. And let me just kind of quickly show you what that does. For those of you who aren't used to working with image editing softwares. So here's an outer glow. Again, I can crank the alpha up or down. I can crank the strength up or down. It has a pretty nice little blur on it that I'm pretty pleased with. And the same thing goes for the drop shadow. That's kind of built in. Honestly, I probably wouldn't mess with the drop shadow too much, excluding your shadow, or excluding your distance and blur. I wouldn't touch necessarily the alpha too much on this. I think it's pretty good. And then finally, you can add an inner light to that as well, so you can see what it's kind of doing there. So all of these are built into one particular effect. And so I can close this, I can open it back up, and these are all the different things that I have checked on them. If I want to get rid of them, I can get rid of the drop shadow, the outer glow, the inner glow, the bevel. I'm going to keep the tint. Crank this down to 55. I think that's a good color there. But in particular, this tint is really nice because, in essence, when you use one of these stones or one of these different floor types or one of these roofs or one of these objects, by being able to create tint with that, you can, in essence, take that one look to a plethora of looks. You can really play around with the different colors and tones that you have on your map, and that is going to give you a lot of depth out of this particular product. So I'm very, very pleased with how the effects have been set up for use in the Dungeon Painter Studio. It is a major addition, and that is one of the biggest reasons that I really like this product. That is one of the biggest reasons for sure. Okay, now I want to take a look at one of the other biggest updates for the Dungeon Painter Studio, and that is the terrain brush. This is really cool as well. So let me just slide this out of the way, and let's go back and edit this. Let's go ahead and edit this over to a hand-painted ground. Let's just choose this grass. There's a good size. And let's hit OK on this. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is when you come up here to terrain, you can see I'm no longer on the ground floor where I can draw rectangles, ellipses, and polygons. on the terrain key, I have these different types of paint brushes. So let's go select a different terrain type. Let's do this dirt. Let's do something a little softer. Let's do something like this. This looks pretty good. So what's great about this is you can literally just click down and you can begin to paint and draw your path. So instead of having these big wide swaths, you can paint very detailed if you want your path to split off or whatever. And I've been playing around with this for a while now. The one thing I'll tell you is don't worry about going over your initial box, and I'll share with you in a little bit why you don't need to stress over that. And where I've had the most fun with this is obviously rivers, roads, but in particular cobblestoned roads look really good with this on there as well. Okay, and as soon as you're done, just click again, and you can see that it's created a new layer with your particular art piece. Again, you can go back in here, you can edit, you can move it, you can add new effects, you can make it dingier if you want to do that. There's a lot of things you can do with it. With dirt, you can even go in and lay dark layers down and lay lighter layers on top, changing the opacity with it with this little toolbar here. As you can see, I can kind of crank this down. That's pretty neat as well. Now, let me show you why this thing doesn't need to be, you don't have to worry about edges. When you are finished with your project, you're going to go up here and hit Export PNG, and you can see here I can shape it to where I kind of want this to go. So if I only want to grab that portion or that portion, I can in essence cut off the extra. So the paintbrush, you can be sloppy with it, you can go quickly, and you can really slap down those maps very, very fast. Which is something that is a big plus for me. I have a lot on my plate, and so when I need to create a map for my game, I need it to be pretty quick, and not having to be super clean with the paintbrush is a nice added bonus. So there you go. There is the new terrain brush. Okay, and moving on with our new features, we also now have the ability to add text to a map if we so choose. You can do that by sliding over here to the text feature. By default, you have a choice of 4 different fonts. I'm going to go with one of my favorites, which is Tahoma. I actually use this quite a bit, so I'm glad to see it included. You can just crank the size up. Now, what you're going to want to do is go ahead and put your text down here first. And as soon as you do that, just click anywhere on the map, and it basically becomes an object. Now, don't worry if you forget to do that and you accidentally plop down an enter text. Let's change this over here to another black so you can see that a little bit better. Don't worry if you accidentally plop down an enter text. To fix that, all you got to do is go over here to edit. You'll see again the black dots come up, and you can just type in whatever you want. No problem. Hit enter when you're done, and there you go. And beyond that, they pretty much move and edit like standard objects. Another new feature available to Dungeon Painter Studio is the grouping feature. This makes editing in bulk very, very easy. So as you can see here, I've just quickly plopped down a fast little map here, and let's say I wanted to go back in and add some shadowing to all of my chairs, tables, my beds, my chests, all of this at one time. How would I do that? Well, what you're going to want to do is use the group feature. So you can simply slide over here. I've got all these stools down to the table. Let's go ahead and select those, and let's make this one group. So now this is a group, and you can see that this has changed from edit into the word into. Then you can come over here, grab the effects that you want, and apply. And all with one click, you can apply your different shadowing effects or your dingy effect if you need to recolor everything very quickly. This is the new group feature, makes editing all together at once very simple, very easy, and it helps you just kind of stay a little bit more organized when you are moving things. So if I wanted to take this table, I love the way I've laid it out here, but I want to take it to another room, I can simply, as one nice clean unit, grab it and move it. So the group feature is a new feature for Dungeon Painter Studio, and It definitely makes things a lot easier when it comes to editing things you already have down on the map. Another new feature that Dungeon Painter Studio offers its users is the ability to import another art object, another PNG. So to do that, all you need to do is go over here to add custom art to collection, go over to where the art is, click on it, and go ahead and hit open. Now, when that does, you're going to need to tell DPS how big that particular object is. In this case, I want it to be a 1x1. This looks exactly the way I want it, so I'm going to go ahead and hit save to current folder. Now, when that does that, you can see if I slide over here to the end, it has added my egg in. All I need to do to change this is come over here to the edit function, and I can change that now over to my egg. And now that I have my egg down, I can even rescale it if I want to by just sliding over and hitting the scale button, sliding this thing right and left. That's all I'm doing is just sliding the mouse right and left and clicking on the size that I want. Just like that. That simple. Now, obviously, I'm not going to cover all of the features that Dungeon Painter Studio has to offer. There's a whole lot more. But the last feature that I absolutely cannot miss, I cannot leave out of this video, is the ability to import from Donjon. To do that, what you're going to want to do is slide over here to this little tab that says Templates. Once you click on that, you're going to have a few different options. By default, you can import this template that they have down here as a demo. You can import a Donjon map that you have saved from Donjon as a TSV file, or you can go directly to their website and just import a map right here, right now. So let's go ahead and just click on this. When you click there, it's going to open up Donjon directly. So let's go ahead and take this map size down a little bit. Let's take the... There we go, dungeon size. That's what I'm looking for. Let's go ahead and take this down to diminutive, and we're going to hit construct. Okay, now that we have this, we are given a few different files here to export to. So what I want you to do is go ahead and hit this TSV map, and that is going to save this as a tsv.txt file. Okay, so now that we have our TSV file, let's go ahead and import that here into Donjon so you can see what it does. So let's go over here, hit this button that says Import TSV Map. Let's grab the map that we just generated over on Donjon. It's going to give us a couple of different options. You can just go ahead and hit OK. And just like that, let's zoom out here. You can see how quick this has generated a map based off of our ground and floor type. Now, what's great about this is, let's say you don't want your entire dungeon to look the same way all the way through. Not a problem. Just come back over here, and as you can see this little Into button, you're going to open up the folder. It has two subfolders. Go ahead and open up the floors. And this is grabbing different rooms. It's grabbing different corridors. It's grabbing different hallways. So once you find a room that you want to edit, let's go ahead and click on this. Then I can edit this, and I can change my floor types for just this part of the map. And again, just like this, I can go back in over here to edit. Into effects, and I can change my lighting. I can add all kinds of different effects. I can move this from behind. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I can do if I just want to tweak and cut and adapt for this particular map. This to me is worth its weight in gold. This is awesome. This is a very, very powerful tool to be able to generate those rooms for those fun dungeon crawl nights that you just need a dungeon. I love using Donjon. I've actually used it in one of my past videos on my map tip videos for my Roll20 Master Series. And now that I have the ability to come in here and quickly edit and quickly import and quickly export this over to Roll20 by making it to a PNG and loading it in, good to go. This is a fantastic tool set by Pyromancers. So there you go, guys. There is the new Pyromancers.com Dungeon Painter Studio, which is available on Steam right now for $14.99. or if you stick around to the end of the video, you can have a chance to win it. Again, I want to be very clear with you guys that Pyromancers did sponsor this video, but as I said earlier, I have been a fan of their products for a long time, and this particular product, I think I'm going to get a lot of wear and tear out of. I really think this is a good value, especially when you compare this to marketplace maps that, you know, are $6 a pop. I mean, for less than 3 of those, you can have this piece of software and generate hundreds and thousands of maps if you really wanted to. There's a lot of great things about this particular piece of software. And even in the 2 weeks that I've been playing around with this thing, getting ready to make this video, I have seen probably about 4 or 5 updates to it already. So if that's any indication, it appears to be a pretty well-supported piece of software at the moment. So I am very excited about this, and my honest opinion is it's a lot of bang for your buck. There's no doubt. So if you are interested in possibly winning your very own free copy of Dungeon Painter Studio, just check the description below for a link to another Gleam contest where you might be able to win your very own copy. And again, a special thanks to Pyromancers for making this video possible and for the extra keys to give away. I think that is very, very kind of them, and we really appreciate it. If this is your first time here and you love role-playing games as much as I do, I'd love to have you subscribe. I'll be putting out new videos every week on DM tips, player tips, tutorials, and more. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, just hit that subscribe button down below and come join us. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Cody, and may your games be filled with awesome memories and even better friends. I'll catch you guys next time.